eventually you get absorbed in, and you are Sonic.
Hey all you good boys and girls, and welcome to No Repeat, a podcast where we pick 3 songs every week with no repeats and no do-overs to create the perfect song for every occasion life throws at you. Joining me are my co-hosts, Tyler Reed.
Who's a cuckoo? I mean, who's a good girl? You are.
And Sean Evans.
Fun fact, not all surfers are murderers.
Okay. No, you're right.
But fair.
If you get the joke, then you've seen the show. So just, we'll just go with that one. Taylor should have gotten it. It's kind of an obscure, well, not really. It's like the plot of a whole episode, but whatever.
Tyler, what are we talking about this week?
This week, we're trying to find the perfect song to sing aloud to your dog, sent in by Emily Ayers. Thanks, Emily.
Why did you...
It's been a while since we have one of these adorable ones.
Why did you show us that Is that why you showed us that TikTok one? That Eddie Vedder TikTok right before this? Because that's definitely what dogs hear. Is that like Eddie Vedder's true gift? Is like showing us that grunge is basically what dogs hear when we speak to them or sing to them?
I'll link in the show notes to the TikTok that Sean's referring to, but it's someone saying, when Eddie Vedder sang and then a bunch of nonsense, I felt that. Because no one can understand what Eddie Vedder is ever saying. And, I think that's part of it. I'm not going to lie. I definitely was in it for the nonsense sounds this week for sure. But kind of like Tyler alluded to in the cold open, I wanted something that you could do some funny voices to. Because let's be real, we all have that animal voice.
Yeah.
That you use with animals and babies.
If you don't, you're a monster.
See...
If you don't have an animal sound.
No, okay. I'm gonna refute this. And I'm gonna say no. I am not a monster. I talked to my cat how I would talk to anybody because I respected her.
I disagree.
I talked to her in a regular voice, unless I was drunk.
I think animals respond to pitch modulations in your voice more than people do, and they need that sometimes.
No, but
okay. Now here's the second question.
But you really think that they're like...
Go ahead, go.
You really think they're that keyed into like when you... That particular... Like the sound of your voice versus your gestures. Like if you went up and you're like... They're like even more keyed in than when you're like... Nobody saw me do that. I basically just like threw my arms out and it was like made like a silly face. Especially dogs, because that's how they look at you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit of both.
Well, see, what we really need to know is... So you may not modulate your voice, Sean. You may not, you may talk to them, you may talk to a pet, in a normal tone. But do you ask them the same question twice because they might not have heard you the first time?
I don't know if I would say that it was the first time. I would say it was to sharpen the clarity of the question. Like, get off the couch. Get off. Did you hear what I said? Did you hear what I said?
See, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Not that I ever
if there's one thing we know about pets, it's that they respond well to repetition.
Yes. Of course.
Who's your good boy? Who's your good boy?
They're hard of hearing. Sometimes they can't hear you super well. You got to make sure that they hear you.
I mean,
I did have a deaf dog growing up, so yeah, I get that.
Yeah, we all grew up with dogs.
I did talk to her still, though.
I'm curious, though, like, how did y'all speak to, sing to, interact with your dogs growing up? Maybe Sean should start since his is such an extreme case.
I talked to her. I didn't really sing to the dog. I sang to my cat because I know that she found it annoying. Okay, so I'm sure like longtime listeners know this, but like about 7 months ago, 8 months ago, probably, honestly, our cat died. And so like every once in a while we'll just be looking through like our phones or something and we'll find a video. And a couple months ago I was looking through my phone. I don't remember where it was at. And it was a video of me coming in to the house and going to see Ember. And I don't remember taking this video, but when I heard it, there was nothing. I was so drunk. Every word was mumbled, and I can tell you what I was doing. I used to play a game with our cat called Black Pearl, in which, because she was a black cat and she would sleep on the bed in a little ball, so I would, instead of like picking her up because she hated it, I would just go in and kind of like cover her up a little bit. Right, yeah, like kind of encircle her with my arms and she was my little Black Pearl, and then I would kind of, like rub my face against her because she didn't like being woken up like that. Because I'm a terrible cat owner, and I love cats so much now. I absolutely love cats.
Listen, if cats weren't meant to be encircled and have your face smushed into them, they wouldn't have been so soft. Like you're like, well, what is all this for then? If not to snuggle and kiss on, right?
And in that video, I did baby talk a little bit, but it was really because I was drunk. 99% of the time, whenever I talked to her, it was very much in the voice that I speak with on this podcast. Except Tyler wasn't there, and there wasn't as much making fun of people. It was very much just, good morning, how are you doing?
Whoa.
She was my secretary as well, so whenever like Sarah needed me to do anything, I was like, hey, can you check in with Ember? She's got my calendar going, just see if I'm free on Wednesday from, 6 to 7 for dinner, that kind of thing.
I think it's important to know that every pet, not even your own pet, just any pet that you interact with in the real world, if you interact with them enough, you have your own language, and you have your own song, and you have your own dance, right? Because you can't this challenge was particularly difficult because in some ways we were making up a hypothetical animal. None of us actually have a dog, but we know a dog, but I didn't want to be like, it's for this dog. So I feel like in some ways we had to sort of form a bond with a hypothetical dog for this challenge, and so that was difficult for me because I think part of it is that you have to sort of form a bond, and kind of their personality kind of takes on, like, it helps you kind of find the things, helps you find the language to sort of create the bond with them, right? But generally, I would say that if you're like singing and dancing with your dog, there's like some sort of like unwellness, like you're either like bored or you're like you're sort of like at your wit's end with something with like work or whatever, and you're like, I just need to like release and have some like just simple silly fun with this animal. I feel like there's a certain like sort of like spontaneity, sort of kookiness to this challenge. I feel like it's important, and that's kind of what I was trying to go with, is that it's like most of the time I just make up a song. I was very tempted to put a song from the Super Mario World soundtrack on here because I take the vocal cadence of the song and then put in my own words to it. And so like I tried to sort of like embody that idea with this challenge, was to take something that's kind of like the format of sort of like a song that kind of felt kind of silly, kind of like, very sing-songy in a way, or something that had a very strong vocal element where it's like, it is mostly vocals. And so that's the kind of vibe I was trying to go for this week.
So after hearing what Tyler said, I kind of agree. I feel like it's the most fun to have a dog, sing with your dog, or have like music playing around your dog when your dog is excited. I think Taylor's song is a little slower, and I think there is room for that. Like, but I don't know. I feel like there was not really, I don't know about serenading a dog.
No, I'm not trying to serenade a dog, but I do think this falls for me in a similar category as like our housework challenge we did a long time ago, where you're just kind of what friend of the show Merlin Mann would call power puttering. You're just working your way around the house, you're changing light bulbs, you're, picking up the shoes that have accumulated by the door and putting them away, that kind of stuff. And in the process, you're singing to the dog. Like, that's the kind of times where I feel like I do this most, is usually when I'm just like in the house by myself with the dog. And this is especially true with other people's dogs for some reason, because I don't have my own right now, but I'm noticing it more and more when I'm around like family dogs. Because when I go to visit my parents, at least for the last 15 months, I've been working from home, but they've both been going to actual jobs. And so I just work from home from their house in the week, and it's me and the dog. And then they don't have to send the dog to doggy daycare. And so, I'll have music on and I'm singing with the dog a little bit. Or in the case of this particular song this week, I was actually picking for a specific dog, unlike Tyler, because my boyfriend's parents just got a new dog who is a lovely animal, but led a very traumatic life before this and was neglected more or less. And so she's still adjusting to normal dog life and is just kind of laying around a lot and being really like tired and skittish. And so I wanted a song that I could kind of like sing around her as she is getting used to being around people and being inside a house instead of chained to a tree outside. It's very sad. But she's doing better. She's doing a lot better than she was when they adopted her 3 weeks ago. So with that being said, I suppose I might as well go first.
Sure. Sounds good to me.
So this week I chose Ali Dinah by Toots and the Maytals.
All right, Ali Dinah, go on, go do the work. All right, Ali Dinah, go on, go do the work. All right, Ali Dinah, lazy, lazy, Ali Dinah, crazy, crazy, Ali Dinah, go on, go do the work. All right, Ali Dinah, lazy, lazy, Ali Dinah, crazy, crazy.
Toots and the Maytals are a Jamaican rocksteady group. They were formed in the early 60s and made music on and off basically up until the death of their frontman, Toots Hibbert, who died in 2020. Their style is a little bit more subdued than a lot of reggae you may have heard in the past because it is that rocksteady style. It's more organ focused. They usually move at a more laid back tempo. And that's what I really like about them. Their music just feels very like comforting in a way. And I will often just have it on when I'm kind of lazing around the house because it's just real chill. Like you can sip a drink to it, but you can also like whip up a salad for lunch or do a little bit of cleaning. Like it's not inoffensive. Like I'm sure this would not be some people's music, but for me, it has this very like bright, spontaneous feel to it that I just really enjoy. And this song and its like call and response chorus of Ali Dinah, lazy, lazy, Ali Dinah, crazy, crazy feels perfect for singing at a dog, especially kind of a lethargic dog like my boyfriend's parents' new dog. You know, she's overweight, they've got her on a diet, but she kind of lays around a lot. You know, she's not quite ready to be a full-on running and playing dog. And this just felt like her. It felt like she's just lazy, crazy. She's not doing the work. You know, you got to kind of coax her to get up and come into the next room with you when you leave. But she's going to get there in her own time. She's going to figure it out. And I just felt like this is a fun, kind of goofy song to sing to a dog. Plus, you can like do fun voices to it. Like, why not?
Are you singing this song as the song is playing?
A little bit of both.
Or a cappella? Because I feel like, for me, well,
it's also so catchy that you'll be singing it all day after you listen to it once.
That's true. And I think that's something that I also should have mentioned is that I feel like a sort of qualification for this also is that the reason why you were singing to the dog in a state that you were sort of unwell, as we said, is that also it's a song that's sort of like earwormed into you. You're like, well, I can't get this out, so now I'm going to sing it. So I do feel like this song would be a little hard to sort of like get the melody of it kind of like on its own. Like I feel like this really is sort of like it's a pretty like loose sort of like song structure. Like it's just kind of a jam. And so I would like, I'm not gonna make you be like sing it for us right now. Although we should do that. So I don't know. I feel like it works. I would like to sort of. I couldn't imagine myself like singing this out loud without like the vote, like the instrumentation in the back. But that being said, I really actually enjoy this. I've sort of like have been a little on the fence about reggae but I feel like rocksteady might be like the way that I kind of get into reggae because it's kind of like a stepping stone into like the full like reggae, full like ska sound. And so I kind of like this vibe. I mean, like, all the stuff is like just comes from jazz basically, so I'm like, I can see how this gets in there. But yeah, I mean, I think this song is definitely cute. I could sing this. I could imagine singing this to a dog. It's cute.
I could imagine singing this to a dog. I can imagine you singing this to a dog. I'm not in love with this song though.
Oh, Dinah.
It just doesn't like if I'm just speaking of, like about myself. Like this isn't something that would find its way onto a playlist that I had by myself.
You know what, Sean? I probably could have guessed that.
But I love the spirit though.
Certified sleepy song.
I think that's kind of like, it's like, to what Taylor said, it's the opposite of mine, because mine's like loud and bombastic, but this is the sleepy dog, like you said, come on, get up, we're going to the next room, like the old friend dog kind of song, you know, where you're what'd you do this afternoon? I slept on the floor. What'd you do after that? Oh, I slept on the couch. Did you go out today? I thought about it. That kind of dog. And I appreciate that kind of dog. I have no problem with that kind of dog. I just I don't, in my head when I was picking a song for this challenge, it wasn't this kind of dog. And I love sleepy dogs too.
You want a sprightly pup. You want a springy, lively, energetic.
I like dogs that are like real chill, but then they have moments of zoomies.
That also known as like a dog that's like 4, not a puppy. Well, actually, 4 is a little old. Anyway,
older dogs have zoomies.
You got to hit that sweet spot. I get it. Since you're so opinionated about dog energy, Sean, why don't you go next?
So this week I chose Dimension by Wolfmother. Tyler shakes his head. Nah. See, that's what I mean. You gotta. So just to start it off, when this song opens up, right? You get the wah, and I feel like sometimes that's. So like the most dog interaction I have right now is with my in-laws dog, and he's a golden retriever and he's about 6. And now he's like moved into middle-aged dog phase, right? Where he's like, he sleeps most of the day. He's kind of in his feels sometimes, you know, like if there's another dog around, or, you know, now that my sister-in-law has a baby, her and her wife have a baby, then when they come over, like Tucker no longer gets the attention that he once got. And he gets a little hurt. But when you get him in the right place, like when I go downstairs to get a beer out of the refrigerator or something, and Tucker comes down, because you have to invite him, because he's a great dog and doesn't do that kind of stuff. He doesn't just like take any liberties.
Oh, that's nice.
He like wants to play. It doesn't matter what time it is, and he gets all kinds of zoomy. He's like, yes, now is the time. And I feel like that's kind of what I like to mention, because once he steps into that zone, he is in this party dimension. Right, where everything is like
into another dimension.
Right, exactly. I just put it together for you. And that's why I feel like this song would be a really good song to like not only soundtrack, but it comes on and you're singing to the dog, because it's, you know, it's just, I'm able to like, I like dogs when you can like, they know who you are and who I am, and that's what I love about them. And I feel like that too, where there's sometimes where I'm like in my mind and I'm quiet and I just want to be at home, but then there's other times where I'm like, I want to go out and ride my bike or go to the bar or do something fun and kind of let loose. And that's when Dimension is like that's another dimension, and I like that part. So
I mean, this song looms large in our collective friendship, because this first Wolfmother record was really one of the records that I feel like we all bonded over in high school together.
Absolutely.
You know, everybody had a copy of this in their car stereo. It was just so refreshing and interesting, the way it channeled classic rock with like contemporary alternative. And in a way that was more interesting than a lot of the stuff that we've seen in recent years, like your Greta Van Fleets. Like, I can't explain what it is that makes this better than Greta Van Fleet, but it is. And of course, Wolfmother couldn't keep that magic, and their subsequent albums all sucked, but, you know, it is what it is. But I think the, like, combination Robert Plant, Mick Jagger impression on the lead vocal on this song makes it perfect for singing at a dog, because you're right, it's very expressive. Like, you know, a dog gets excited by sudden moves and by like loud noises, and there is no way to sing this song that doesn't include like sudden movements and very loud singing. Like, you can't hit these notes if you're singing soft. You gotta belt on this one.
Right.
That opening yelp alone would alert every dog on the block. And I think that's kind of perfect. You know, if you're looking to really like get an intense game of tug of war going, this is your song. Like, you and the dog are going to jam. Whether the dog understands Wolfmother or just hears a bunch of Eddie Vedder-esque like, who cares? You're enjoying it, and they're enjoying being with you, and that's what matters.
Right, because I think an important component is, and something that I was like strongly thinking about when I was picking my song is that like, I have to remember this. Like, I have to put this into my brain, and then just like, it has to naturally come out of me. But I feel like what's fun is that you just have to remember any part of it to get your way through the whole song. That could be the lyrics, and then into like, mimicking the sounds of the guitar. And I feel like this is a song that where you have to do both to kind of get into the next part. Because there are prolonged moments where there's no lyrics to it, and you're not gonna just like sit there and just be like, wow, and then just like just say nothing. Like, you're not gonna wait for like the vocals to come back in. You're gonna be boom 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 boom, which I love to do. I think that's another kind of magic that you can add into it. And I was skeptical of this. Obviously, this song is incredible. It's like number one, my favorite. But I think once I think about like using the guitar bridges to do a fun like vocal scatting, I'm in. and I think as long as Sean, can we hear a little bit of guitar vocal here?
Well, for what? For this song? Like, you want me to mimic the guitar sound?
Yeah.
Bow, 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 bow.
See, perfect.
Yeah,
there you
like
go.
That?
Yeah, you convinced me.
Okay.
I'm in. I'm 100% in.
Iconic riffs.
Yeah.
Like, how did
And
this
that's
song
important.
manage to have like 3 iconic riffs in it?
Because, like, they could have done a much worse job. But, like, this is, like, really iconic. Like, I can remember it, and I hadn't heard the song in a few years. So I'm like, yeah, that's a good riff. And I feel like, just as a side note, because we're also talking about the song, and we mentioned Greta Van Fleet, I feel like kind of what's great about Wolfmother is that they kind of combine a few different flavors of classic rock together. Because this is definitely, like, that, it's sort of like a Sabbath style sort of like guitar riffs and bass stuff in there, but then it kind of combines a little bit more of the, you know, aggressive, it's like a more aggressive Robert Plant, right?
Right.
It's a little more whaley, and that's kind of exciting. So
Right.
So I think that's why Wolfmother worked at least once.
Yeah, I feel like if you listen to the first Black Sabbath record, Houses of the Holy, and Rolling Stones' Sticky Fingers, all at once, you get the first Wolfmother record. Which, by the way, go watch the amazing Rolling Stones documentary film Gimme Shelter, which is currently on HBO Max, I think, and just watch Mick Jagger and then watch Andrew Stockdale during this music video. Like, he is doing Mick Jagger 1969. He's pursing the lips. He's doing the high-stepped strut thing. Like, it's pure Jagger energy. All right, Tyler, that just leaves you. What do you have for us this week?
This week I chose Barbara Ann by Beach Boys.
Looking for romance, saw Barbara Ann, so I thought I'd take a chance with Barbara Ann, Barbara Ann, Barbara Ann, Barbara Ann, Barbara Ann, you got me rocking and a rolling, rocking and a reeling, Barbara Ann, Barbara Ann, Barbara Ann, Barbara Ann.
So I'm surprising even myself by picking this song, because historically this is a song that I've been like, this song is so dumb. It's so stupid. I hate the vocals. I hate the blah blah blah, but that was the old me. I didn't understand what music really was about back then. Because it was on like Warm 98, and I was like, this is just what old people listen to. And then I actually like listened to the Beach Boys. I'm like, oh, this is incredible. Anyway, it's incredible that we still have put Beach Boys onto this playlist until today. So that's good. I think we're really hitting two key points for music, having Wolfmother and Beach Boys. Not that they're at the same level at all. Anyway, so Barbara Ann, just a real kind of goofy, kind of lighthearted song that just has lots of really fun vocal deliveries that I really just felt like I could really just sort of like play with. And it's sort of almost like when you're listening to it, there's a sort of like casual nature to it. They have like some like natural sounds of other people kind of in the room. The claps are kind of like offbeat a little bit, but like it all just kind of feels like a little bit of a party, and they're just having a great time. And so this song sort of like mimicked the idea that I was kind of going for in like my preamble, where it's like sometimes you just kind of make up a song for a dog, and that's just kind of what you do. And I feel like Barbara Ann kind of has that same energy to it. It's like blah 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 Barbara Ann.
You realize you're singing to a sheep.
Yeah, you're building the plane as you're kind of flying it, kind of vibes to it, and I feel like it's the same kind of thing as if you took a song and you changed the words into it, and so that's kind of why I felt like it was like, oh, this has the same kind of vibe, and so yeah, Barbara Ann.
I never realized that the song was actually called Barbaran or Barbaran. I thought it was called like Babaran.
Yeah,
like with an O. So. First surprise and first realization that I'm an idiot. Second one was what an interesting song to sing to a dog. This feels very Hank Hill. Remember the episode of King of the Hill where they do the dog dancing one? And yeah, this feels very much like for the real deal there.
I mean, okay, so
Taylor's laid it in.
Lots of like history stuff here that I'm going to try and breeze through really fast. This song was originally written by Fred Fassert, who was a like professional songwriter in the 50s. He wrote it for the Regents, who released their version in 1961, and then the Beach Boys released theirs in 1965. One of the most interesting things about this record is that the lead vocals aren't actually sang by any members of the Beach Boys.
Weird.
Dean Torrance of the 60s rock duo Jan and Dean was just in the studio and sang lead on this and got no credit for it.
What?
Yeah. It's him and, of course, Brian Wilson doing the lead vocals and then the rest of the Beach Boys on backup. But he's not credited for it at all, which is hilarious. Such an iconic performance. Nobody knows it's him.
Right.
I love the looseness of this. It has that like early 60s Wrecking Crew LA sound where you just have like a room full of incredibly talented session musicians backing up a bunch of vocalists on a record that they're just like, yeah, whatever, it's like 4:00, we're almost done for the day, let's do it. And then it becomes like a big hit for the Beach Boys and reaches number 13 on the charts. Of course, this song has had quite the afterlife. Notoriously, like Sean said, a lot of people cannot remember or understand what they're saying or who it's about, which led to a parody version in 1979 during the Iran hostage crisis called Bomb Iran.
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
which then,
okay.
As if that weren't enough, during the 2008 presidential campaign, then Senator John McCain made a joke about this song being Bomb, Bomb, Bomb Iran, which did not go well for him, as you could imagine. So a real checkered history, this song. But that being said, it's a great song. It's so much fun. I mean, it's like stupid fun in the way that like the best Beach Boys songs are. And it seems like the kind of song that would get a dog excited if dogs could like perceive music. Like, have you guys ever met a dog that can perceive television?
Yeah.
It's weird. Because most dogs, they just like walk by a TV and it's like not even there. But my family has a few dogs that like, if there is a dog on TV, they will watch the show. Like Modern Family is my uncle's dog's favorite show. And he just sits on the couch and watches that dog on that show. It's wild. And I feel like if a dog could understand music, this is some dog's favorite song. Because it's just slightly annoying, which is kind of like big dog energy.
That's funny. Yeah, I feel like we met one of Sarah's friends yesterday, went for a walk with her dog, and we talked about that exact thing. I don't remember how it came up, but that's what we were saying. She was like, "Oh yeah, my dog. She doesn't really watch. Doesn't like see herself in the mirror, or like she doesn't watch TV." And I never like occurred to me that. I mean, I never had a dog that really watched TV, but they were never. She was never bothered by it. I guess I should say, if that makes sense.
Some dogs are really torn up by it. Like, if they hear another dog barking on TV or something, they'll, like, freak out.
Yeah.
I have never had a dog like that, but I've had family members like that.
I remember we had when we first got our cat, I was watching a video on YouTube that had, like, kittens meowing in it, and she, like, flipped out. She was, like, all, like, where is that coming from? I need to find this. And then
mess them up.
After that, like, because we tried it a couple other times, like, I wonder if that was just a one-off thing, and it was. So I don't know what was happening, but I don't know. It was weird. But she saw herself in the mirror. Like, it's weird when dogs see themselves in the mirror the first time and some of them can't believe it, and then some of them just walk by it and they don't even, like, it doesn't even faze them. It's weird. All right, and with that, it's time for Notable B-Sides. These were songs that were so close to making the cut but didn't quite get Your Dog Dancing. Not to be confused with Ted Danson. Does anybody have some, secondary dog dancing, singing songs? Dog dancing, singing songs. Sorry. Just crack myself up.
I mean, I could pick, like, basically any Toots and the Maytals song. I would also pick I Want to Be the One by Fun off of their first record, because I think that's a fun, cute song to sing. And maybe Hotel Yorba by the White Stripes.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, okay. I was thinking about Kimi Dawson. It's a lot of words, though, but it had the kind of vibe I was kind of thinking about. It feels very off the cuff. Bill Wirtz just has songs on Spotify. I was like, these are kind of goofy. Flower Garden from the video game Yoshi's Island. Giant Woman from the Steven Universe soundtrack. Because it's also just to really go to lose the plot. Birdhouse in Your Soul by They Might Be Giants. Peaches by the Presidents of the United States of America. And
Look
Flamingo by Caro Caro Bonito. I feel like Peaches, you could say most of the words to that song and you're like, you could get through most of it and you're like, there it is. You can remember it.
Let's see. I've been listening to a lot of Megan the Stallion lately. I feel like there's a lot of good material on there to sing to your dog. Just make sure your dog, is cool with adult lyrics and themes. Trying to think.
That was also something I was very concerned about. I was like, I'm not trying to make any advances on this dog. I'm like, I was trying to keep this PG as possible.
Does your dog have lots of sensibilities? I get it. That makes sense.
Good Christian woman, very important.
I mean, if it's my dog, you're getting Smashing Pumpkins all the time, and like you're getting like B-side Smashing Pumpkins as a dog. Like you're not getting like Rotten Apples. You're getting like Billy Corgan acoustic special B-sides. So I'll just say that.
Well, Tyler, if people want to give you a treat, where can they do that?
You can find my design illustration work at rootedpets.club, and as always, find me on the socials as Root Pets Club on Instagram and Twitter.
Sean, if people want to take you for a walk, where can they do that?
Ooh.
Wow. You can find me on Instagram at TellySean.
If you want a dog walk, Sean, here's his phone number.
Thanks, Taylor. Now everybody knows.
And if you want to buy me a new toy, you can find me on the socials at TC Olmstead. All of these songs will be on the official No Repeat podcast playlist, and we'll be back next week with another episode of No Repeat.